There are, at the time of this video, 890 species of Pokemon, and so many of them are awesome, but I would be lying if I said I wasn't a Gen 1 and 2 guy. Those games are my childhood, and you can fuck right off if that bothers you. I tried not to overcrowd the list with only those first 250, but I did. I tried to pick at least one from every generation, but a lot of those just ended up as honorable mentions. Still, several factors went into choosing: biology, type, learn set, stats, backstory, but above all, my favorite ones. So before you hit that dislike button and leave death threats in the comments because I left out your favorite, you must remember that this is a list of my favorites. Make your own list, bitch, for I am NintenDopeman, and these are the dopest Pokemon. Number 25. Crocodile. Ah yes, the King K. Rool of Pokemon. I almost gave this spot to Tyranitar, with whom I have many more memories, but Crocodile's ground type overpowers his rock type, and they're both dark. And plus, that name and that burglar mask make him look like some kind of criminal alligator. A criminalligator. Or Crocodile. Incredibly violent and impulsive, the aptly named Intimidation Pokemon never lets prey escape from jaws powerful enough to crush a car, which is something I've never seen in the world of Pokemon, but its stats and learn set are pretty double-visioned. Number 24. Lunala. I didn't like Sun or Moon, but Lunala is one of the coolest legendaries I've seen in a while. It's a bat shaped like a crescent moon with an evolutionary path reflecting the process of celestial bodies. The moon Pokemon uses wormholes to travel the cosmos, it eats light, and it has a third eye. I mean, this thing should do DMT with Joe Rogan. I mean, this thing looks like a Castlevania boss. It's a decent stat hybrid of psychic and ghost types with a learn set that includes fairy moves for the dark types that it's vulnerable to. Number 23. Nidoking. Early on in Gen 1, you can catch a Nidoran, quickly evolve it into Nidorino, and by the time you leave Mount Moon with a Moonstone, you can have a Nidoking. One of the coolest and badassest mons in the game, and the whole series. Unfortunately, the ground poison drill Pokemon can only unlock moves in his middle phase, and its stats are surprisingly average. Number 22. Suicune. Crystal is my favorite entry, so you know I gotta throw my boy Suicune in here. That rock star hair, those dual streamer-like tails, those diamond marks.
And that thing!
Suicune is said to represent the rain that extinguished the burning brass tower, while Entei represents the fire itself and Raikou the lightning that ignited it. The Aurora Pokemon travels the world on northern winds to purify tainted water, and was hounded for a while by this weirdo stalker, until it was caught in the ruins of the legend that birthed it. From there, it's a pretty decent party member with high stats and a learn set that leans towards its water type with a few exceptions. Number 21. Venusaur. Oh, grass types. Necessary, helpful, but whose best representatives were mostly starters. And out of those, you know I gotta pick my boy Venusaur. As a grass-poison duo, the seed Pokemon has okay stats and a bland learn set, but it's an icon from bud to sprout to bloom. And this Brontosaurus flower beast isn't just pretty, it's practical. Venusaur absorbs and stores sunlight. It's like nature's solar panel.
That does not exist in nature.
Number 20. Snorlax. Snorlax is many things, probably because he ate them all. Huge, adorable, powerful, docile, obstacle, reward. All the Pokemon OGs like myself remember being roadblocked by this humongous teddy bear, and finally using the Pokeflute to wake him up. The sleeping Pokemon wakes up once a day to eat 900 pounds of food. It never gets sick, and he's just a big old bugger wugger. Snorlax may be incredibly lazy, but it's the strongest normal type, it's only weak to fighting, and can learn just about every TM, probably because he ate them all. Number 19. Banette. When a child throws away a doll, its begrudging feelings of abandonment endow it with sentience and it becomes a Banette, the marionette Pokemon, and it forever seeks the child who discarded it. If its mouth is unzipped, Its cursed energy is released and anyone caught by it is subjected to whatever Banette does to itself like a voodoo doll. I don't know how Shuppet fits into all that, but that's fucking awesome. It's like a fucked up version of Toy Story.
I don't know what you're talking about.
The ghost-type puppet also boasts surprising mid-range stats and a semi-inclusive learn set. Number 18. Lapras, the gentle giant of the sea. So graceful, so majestic, and so very, very rare. For the poor creature has been nearly hunted to extinction. We must save the beautiful Lapras.
Fuck you, Anna!
Known as the transport Pokemon, Lapras can understand human speech, ferry people across the water, and is one of the most peaceful Pokemon in the world, despite the fact that at a high enough level, the Water-Ice Plesiosaur can gain some devastating moves and power. Earning one in Silphco is sweet, but catching one in Union Cave is even sweeter. Either way, who wouldn't want a Lapras? It's like nature's boat.
They're not real.
Number 17. Alakazam. Alakazam was always just so cool and mysterious to me. He looks like a Buddhist monk who's always ready to pack a fat bowl of cereal. Despite being a hyperthymesiac with an IQ of 5,000, Alakazam's stats are surprisingly low and his learn set is unsurprisingly limited. But I don't want him to fight. I want him to teach me the secrets of the universe. Number 16. Rayquaza. Gen 3 was the time I lost contact with the series, but even I remember how popular Rayquaza was when it first came out. The sky-high master of the Weather Trio is a massive serpent that lived in the ozone layer for millions of years until it descended to resolve the conflict between Kyogre and Groudon. The dragon-flying hybrid possesses the stupidly high stats and retardedly generous learn set befitting of a legendary. Number 15. Dragonite. Dragonite has to be the cutest dragon ever. And you know who really loves Dragonite?
Mr. Lance Vance Dance.
Despite its rotund build and tiny wings, it can travel faster than the speed of sound, and often spends its time rescuing drowning people and lost ships at sea, because despite its signature move Outrage, it's very compassionate and displays a human-like wisdom. It is said that Dragonites inhabit an island somewhere in the ocean, where their decent stats and interesting learn set is squandered on a peaceful utopia. Number 14. Delibird. Alright, now everyone has at least one Pokemon that they love and everyone else thinks is kinda retarded, and I think mine is Delibird. I never leave the ice path until I catch one. It's an adorable red penguin that carries food and stuff in its tail like a wandering hobo. And if it sees a person, it shares with them. Its low stats and single-moved learn set are obviously nothing to write home about, although it could deliver the letter, and its signature move Present can either damage or heal the opponent. It just can't help its helpful nature. Number 13. Kingdra. Gen 2 brought so many innovations, and one of my favorites was new evolutions of old species. And my favorite one was always kind of the weakest of these, Kingdra. It lives at the deepest sea floors and has the power to create whirlpools. Its stats and learn set are fairly fundamental, but if you love something enough, you stick with it to level 100. Number 12. Typhlosion. I love all the starters for Gen 1 and 2 so much that they're the hardest to choose from, but Typhlosion is
My man!
The volcano Pokemon has high stats and a fiery learn set that for some reason has come to include Solar Beam? Number 11. Pikachu. No list of Pokemon is complete without the series mascot. Pikachu has the world recognition of Coca-Cola or the American flag. And just look at him!
Look at him, isn't he cute?
The electric mouse lives in forest-dwelling packs, storing electricity in its cheek sacs to roast berries. With the Thunderstone, it evolves into Raichu, who has higher stats and a smaller learn set. But who would ever do that?
Look at him, isn't he cute?
Number 10. Eevee. Now you know I had to put an evolutionary Pokemon, But I had trouble deciding until I realized that I could just put Eevee to kind of represent them all. Eevee is a normal type Pokemon with irregularly unstable DNA that enables it to evolve into different types of itself based on different stones and stimuli. That in itself is awesome and would make him the ultimate Pokemon rep in Smash Brothers. Obviously, its stats and learn set are inferior to its many forms, but also in like the case of Pikachu, sometimes it ain't easy to evolve something so damn cute. Unless they make a ghost type. Number 9. Mewtwo. Many Poké-related discussions were had in the sandboxes of the late 90s. The Kanto War, how to get Mew, the mystery of missing No, but Mewtwo gets the gold. The build-up to him is what's most exciting. You hear legends of some of the most rare and powerful Pokemon in the world. You notice a cave you can't quite reach yet, and when you can surf there, some asshole bouncer tells you,
This place is too tough for you, little man.
you earn the only Master Ball and hopefully had the foresight to save it for something good. You discover the ruins of the Cinnabar Mansion were once the site of horrific gene splicing experiments in which the infinite DNA of a mythical ancestral Pokemon called Mew was cloned until it escaped. After becoming the Pokemon champion, you can finally enter Cerulean Cave and claim your prize. A viciously powerful psychic Pokemon with redonkulous stats and a hereditarily inclusive learn set. And who always looked like an alien. Number 8. Mawile. I don't know what the fuck this thing is, but I love it. Aptly named the Deceiver Pokemon, Mawile drops a foe's guard with its sheer adorableness and whips around that body-length ponytail to attack, because it's actually a second set of jaws protruding from the back of its head. What? This eye-catcher sports the intriguing type combo of Fairy and Steel, and though its stats remain low until the higher levels, its learn set is more diverse than a Kendrick Lamar concert. Number 7. Ho-Oh. Ho-Oh is just... wow. It's likely the most visually striking Pokemon ever. Like a peacock, but on fire, like a phoenix. And like all great legendaries, its backstory is a page-turner. 700 years ago, in Ecrotech City, 2 towers were built to foster a friendship between people and Pokemon. However, 150 years ago, the western tower was struck by lightning and burnt down. 3 unknown Pokemon died in the tragedy, but were resurrected and empowered by a mysterious bird that would regularly roost atop the eastern tower. Since then, the trio master of the legendary beasts has itself become a thing of legends. People say it glows in 7 colors depending how light strikes it, leaving a rainbow chemtrail in its wake. They say it brings eternal happiness to anyone who sees it in the flesh. They say it flies around the world, seeking a trainer with a pure heart to face it atop its old perch. The rainbow Pokemon is known as the Guardian of the Skies, and has the high stats and diverse learn set, capped with the signature move of Sacred Fire, compulsory for such a legendary creature. Number 6. Gyarados. Who can forget the first time they were scammed by a sleazy salesman or spent way too much time fishing with the old rod, but then taught the value of hard work and patience when their useless Magikarp became this bad boy of the seas? That's one of the best aspects of Gyarados, that the most useless Pokemon evolves into one of the coolest and strongest. I mean, every Gyarados just shows up to his high school reunion like, hey, remember when I was a Magikarp and you flushed me down the toilet?
Well, burn for it!
The atrocious Pokemon has been known to raise entire cities, has a great set of stats and moves, and the red Gyarados in the Lake of Rage?
Badass, 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 badass!
Although I never understood the type combo of water and flying. Shouldn't it be water and dragon? Number 5. Kabutops. I don't know why, but I always loved Kabutops. Maybe it's those crazy Reaper claws or those 6-pack abs, but the dome is my favorite fossil and I will always choose it over this rotting piece of sushi. The shellfish Pokemon went extinct in the midst of evolving into a land dweller, so while its legs and gills are adapted for such terrain, it remains a sleek swimmer that tears through its prey to drink their fluids. The rock-water hybrid is doubly weak to grass, but can still learn its absorbing moves among a decent pool of others and mid-range stats. Number 4. Sableye. Sableye is just my type. It's as if Game Freak asked themselves, what kind of Pokemon would the Dopeman love? Just look at this guy, he's like the Invader Zim of Pokemon. These quiet creatures live deep in caverns, subsisting on a healthy diet of gemstones. They eat so damn many, their eyes turned into them. Even Snorlax ain't gonna fuck with these guys' jewels. While his stats are lowish, his learn set has some real good flavor, and his type combo of Ghost and Dark leaves him weak to only fairies. Number 3. Charizard. Now back in the day, Charizard was the coolest Pokemon on the playground. He was the bee's knees. Everything from his draconic design to his fiery fury just screamed choose me when booting up the original adventure, of which he was a mascot. With semi-high stats and a fairly diverse learn set, the flame Pokemon produces heat that can melt glaciers, burn forests, and inflame the tip of its tail. Now look, Charizard seems like a cliche, but like I said, Gen 1 and Gen 2 are my childhood, and this was my first starter, literally my first Pokemon ever. And Pikachu may be the series mascot, but Charizard is the embodiment of its origins. Number 2. Absol. You gotta have both a puppy and a kitty Pokemon, and I absolutely choose Absol because it always kinda looked like both to me. I just love this Pokemon. That snowy fur, that sickled horn, that 100-year lifespan.
And that thing!
Absol is like the hot weather girl of Pokemon. It's smart, gorgeous, and has the ability to predict impending natural disasters. And at one point in time, when it did try to warn people about earthquakes and tornadoes and hurricanes, people would end up blaming them for it. It came to be known as the disaster Pokemon, mistaken and scapegoated as a doombringer, until people finally chased it into the rugged mountainous regions that it now calls home. Absol's story is a sad one, but those brave enough to question his false accusations will be rewarded with strong stats, diverse moves, and a very cool partner that will outlive them. Number 1. Gengar. Oh come on, you knew it was gonna be a spooky ghost type, you know me. Also, I kinda wanted to squeeze Haunter in there because I love him too. That gaseous body, those right-angled eyes, those indented lips, and it always places the one with a spooky red glow on the shoulders of those who wander into its dark dwellings and licks the life away from them. But as cool as Haunter is, when traded, it evolves into Gengar, the shadow Pokemon. Just look at him, that purple body, those red eyes, that sinister grin. It looks like an evil teddy bear. The Ghost Poison hybrid sports mid to high stats, and even a learn set that protects it from the types that it's vulnerable to. Gengar is a lot like Prince. He's awesome, rare, purple, and deceased. Gengar tends to hide in the shadows of its victims, absorbing the heat until they feel a sudden chill, and then it makes its move. Besides my love for all things horror, there's no real logic why Gengar is my favorite, for much like the universe itself, it just is. Don't you just play Pokemon sometimes and just wish they were real? I don't particularly wish that about Mario or Sonic or God forbid Silent Hill, but Pokemon would be awesome, and I would never battle them. I just want to be their friend, and I might try eating a couple too. But sadly, the real world is not Pokemon. Sadly, the real world is Grand Theft Auto.